So we can do what's Hondo on the mic. From Leo's Paradise, random stream drop like a Dragon Ball fight. No lie, plan stream stacking up, but here's a twist in time. Freestyling on the deck like Luffy's punchlines. Up the channels, passive in Zoro sword slings. Gaming pop culture, it's the chaos he brings. Talking movie reboots, superhero hype. Hondo's passing the mic, now Bishop's in sight. Cutting good screen, frame by frame, I align. Laying bass lines heavy, keep the rhythm divine. Jumping fire videos, can't keep up with the pace. Pass the mic back, Leo's leading the chase. Off the rails, no script, just a freestyle ride. Nerdcore king, let the randomness collide. Playing a knob, Leo's got the flow to entice. It's words of paradise, the chaos comes to life. No script, just a freestyle ride. Nerdcore king, let the randomness collide. Planning on, Leo's got the flow to entice. It's words of paradise, the chaos comes to life. Just a freestyle ride. Nerdcore king, let the randomness collide. Planning on, Leo's got the flow to entice. It's words of paradise, the chaos comes to life.
Welcome back to the Countercast. How are all you vital idols doing? My God, do we have a show for you today? We have a show for you today. We're going to have a dope-ass guest for you today, but we got some stuff to get into before that. For those of you that are unaware, Cinevere has to take a little bit of a leave of absence for a few days. No worries. She'll be back. Don't you worry, y'all pretty little heads. But no worries. I got this covered. So until then, shout out, man, Square Enix been gutting the West. We've got the Critical Drinker and other critics attacked for daring to dislike a movie. That's the incredible thing, man. With the Predator Badlands stuff, I have found the discourse around the movie so much more interesting than the actual movie, than going to even see the actual movie. And maybe, if time allows it, we're going to get into some dating advice because the dad, what's the name of the channel? The Dadvocate, which is a pro men's channel ran by a female, something like that. I'm going to watch a couple of videos talking about women destroying their own dating pool by having high standards, such as anime being a red flag. So yes, we got a lot to go over. It's going to be a dope-ass show. Shout out to all the Violet Isles. Let's use in the house. We got Boy Valiant Goat. How you doing, Valiant Goat? Tebow is here. How you doing, Tebow? You love to see it. Got Carrymon, and he's dropping the Ein emojis, which Tebow is asking, is that a corgi? If it's a pug, you'd allow it? Homie. Clearly not an anime fan. Clearly not anime. He doesn't know arguably the most famous corgi in all of anime, Ein from Cowboy Bebop, one of the greatest anime of all time. That's just straight disgraceful, son. Disgraceful. We got boy Butterframed in Gold. How you doing, Butterframed in Gold? You'd love to see it. Bird's the word. You love to see it. Dope ass guest. You didn't tell me I was supposed to join you. I mean, I would love to get you back on at some point. I know the daytime streams like this are difficult, but I would love to get you back on at some point. However, before our illustrious guest comes in, before we get too terribly deep into the weeds of everything going down in the craziness that is the internet, the degradation known as the internet, I have a message for you guys. A message from our sponsors over at New Blackstreet.
If you're a guy and you have sex with a female robot, but the female robot is being controlled by another guy, are you gay?
These are the questions that haunt us. These are the questions that haunt us.
But the robot looks like a girl. Like, let's say the robot looks like a girl. Like, are you gay or not? Only if you know it's a guy. All right, I really like that. So basically, it's like a Schrodinger's gay.
I don't know about
Schrodinger's gay is the most acceptable kind of gay because it's like it's accidental gay. I'm all right with accidental gay. All right, like I would never do it. I wouldn't want to do it. But if somebody came to me and they're like, I didn't know the sex bot was controlled by a dude, I'd give him the pass. I might even pay for his therapy. What about you, Niat? How do you feel about Schrodinger's gay?
Schrodinger's gay. That's my term. How dare you steal that from me? That's what I called you on the Dooley stream.
Holy shit, you're right. I totally forgot about that. I was just pulling up a quick clip of New Blackstreet reacting to Asmongold saying it.
Like a Schrodinger's gay.
I don't know.
I guess you have more in common with white indie woke gamer chuds than you realize. Niat, tell the people who you are and what you do.
Hi, I'm Niat. I run Film Comics Explained. I do film discussions, streams, lore videos, and I sometimes hang out with this twitchy little fuck.
That's me. I'm twitchy. What up, CFH? How you doing? Yeah, look at that. We got Australians in the chat showing up just for you. We're gonna have a good show today. In fact, let's get right into it because I don't want to take too terribly much of your time. We got a couple of hours. Are you do you watch Yellow Flash at all?
No, not really.
Okay. I really don't either. However, he's a good dude. He's part of the streams at times. I used to watch him a lot, but I haven't watched him in a long time. But he dropped this video. Critical Drinker causes meltdown over Predator Badlands review. They defend Disney to death. So maybe we go over this. But you've seen Predator Badlands. Now, I was saying before you hopped on, I find the discourse around this movie so much more interesting than even going to see the movie. But you give people your thoughts since you actively saw it.
Yeah, I mean, it's a happy-go-lucky tale of adventure of a person who at the start is at their absolute lowest, and they've got to somehow make their way back to their family. They meet some new friends along the way, including a cute creature to sell merchandise and a female that tells him to get in touch with his sensitivity so that he can become the best version of himself. That's Predator Badlands, you know.
So it's not a Predator movie, is what I'm getting.
No, I don't think it is. I don't think it is at all. And my main frustration isn't even like that it doesn't really adhere to lore. It's that it just gets the tone of the Predator movies wrong. You know, the first three Predator movies are about ultra masculine men trying to survive the deadliest creature in the goddamn universe. These things hunt xenomorphs and xenomorph queens for breakfast, right? It's just like another Tuesday for them. And those movies were horrifying. They were thrilling. And this movie doesn't have any of that. Like I've said this ad nauseum over the weekend, that there is a way to tell the story of a hunter from their perspective, but you can do that without humanizing them. They've basically turned the Predator into just like a human character, essentially, and a beta one at that, right? That's my main frustration with the movie. There's too many jokes. It's not serious enough. Yeah, I was disappointed.
Let's find out what the discourse is then.
Let's talk about Predator Badlands. It's been in the theaters for about 3 days, right? Not that long. Came out last Thursday. Had some, I guess, okay success at the box office. The total was 80 million. I have no...
Now, because I know we have a lot of crossover with our audience. We also have folks that only watch me or only watch you, whatnot. Your assessment of the box office was the same. It was just okay, right?
It's doing better than expected for a Predator movie. There's no doubt about that. But yeah, like it's doing okay. Not spectacularly, and it's not failing so far. But I do expect to see a 40 to 60% drop off come week 2. And it was an expensive movie to make, right?
Yeah, like I think 110 million was the reported budget, not including marketing. Okay.
No doubt this movie is going to make its money, but people are acting like this movie is a trendsetter. There's so many people glazing this movie. It's kind of turned me off to it. And I haven't felt this way since Kingdom Come Deliverance 2. And that was because of everyone arguing about that quest where Hans hooks up with a dude that was optional. I was like, what's going on here? I didn't even want to play the game. And I initially was going to, but all the fighting around that game kind of turned me off to it. And all the fighting around Predator Badlands has kind of turned me off to it.
See, and this is, again, this is where I think the interesting thing is. the discourse around the movie, do you think it's or in the long run will harm the film? Because like I wasn't going to see this anyway, so not for me, but is this like sort of a common sentiment you'd think amongst just general people online, regardless of your ideology or where you sit?
Is it going to harm the film? I don't know. I mean, there's always going to be people that hate a movie. There's always going to be people championing it. And the movie's performance is always dependent on, one, its quality, and two, the word of mouth. So I guess there's a chance that if half of the demographic, well, actually the majority of its demographic that it's targeted towards is saying it's shit, and the people that Disney are actively trying to get to come see this movie are saying that it's good, then it's hard to tell. It's hard to tell. But this isn't a movie made for men who enjoyed the original film.
So let's say we're online, we're talking about, whether or not we want to see this movie. People are praising it for all the things they're praising it for, none of which sound like Predator films. I don't know, like I don't actually see that making a dent in the box office, because I don't think you say that's the audience that that it's intended for, or the audience that's intended for wasn't showing up. I don't know that that's the audience it was intended for to begin with, so I don't know that it'll have that much of an effect. I'd like to be wrong, but I don't know if it will.
Remember I said that like I took my girlfriend to see it and she said it was a cute fucking movie.
Right.
That's great. That means that like the demographic that Disney was after. Actually, Reaper made a really good point yesterday in that a couple of the game developers are like, look, fuck the demographic that we've always tailored to. They're always going to consume content. Let's target a completely new demographic. Our old viewers are going to, and players are still going to be here. And then we'll have this whole new demographic. That's basically, I feel as though Disney's aim with this movie. The problem is the new demographic isn't interested in this IP. My girlfriend said it was a cute movie, but she would not have gone to see it without me. She wouldn't have watched it on streaming. She wouldn't have encouraged her friends to see it. So I feel as though this was not the best strategy. But I also understand that these movies historically don't do well at the box office. Like, it's just one of those IPs that isn't popular.
Well, our boy T-Bow for a two-banger says, if it's anything like Prey, I have zero interest. You didn't like Prey either, but you think that this is bad but different from Prey, right?
So with Prey, my issues was that the main character, Naru, is basically a girl boss, right? She ignores the advice of her mother, of her father, or not her father, her brother, and her clan, all of the male hunters, essentially. She goes off on this vanity quest to be seen as better than what she is. In the process, she gets every male hunter in her village killed, including her brother, who dies protecting her. He's my favorite character in that movie. But if we throw away issues I have with her character, at least Prey got the tone right. It's thrilling, sometimes a little bit scary. You've got this unstoppable killer that's making his way up the food chain, up the hierarchy of hunters, and making his way to humans. And he's slaughtering people left, right, and center. So as much as I don't like that movie, at least they got that right.
So your argument is that you actually like this less than Prey in terms of being a Predator movie?
I don't know whether I like this more, but I definitely think that Prey is more of a Predator movie than Badlands is.
Gotcha. Okay. That's good to know.
And I'm not a big fan of Prey.
And for those of you that don't know, you are a big fan of Predator as a franchise. You're kind of a lore fucking expert on Predator. So,
minimal criticism about this movie last week, and just got attacked left and right by notably a lot of shills, a lot of Hollywood shills really coming out for this movie. Just turns me off to it. And I've heard it's a good movie from a few people. I've also heard it's a bad movie, but overwhelmingly, most people seem to like the movie. Great. If you like this movie, fantastic. But people like Grace Randolph calling people incels for not liking this movie, it just turns me off. Now, a good example of what I'm talking about here is showing itself from this Critical Drinker review. And I'm not talking about his review. I'm talking about the reactions to it, which we're going to get into, because now they're going after him because he had a pretty successful video here. I mean, look at it, 1 million views.
Now, this is the part I'm interested about, because when we were on your stream yesterday, we actually who somebody on the panel was like they dropped their Prey review and they got shit for it. There's a couple of people that are like, fuck it, I'm not even gonna bother with it.
I mean, Chris said that he dropped his review. I don't know if he said he got shit on for it. Movie Cynic did say that he was planning on making a movie for this week, but considering he saw other people were getting shit on YouTube, he's going to postpone his Predator Badlands review.
Now, and so because I don't do movie reviews very often, when I do, it's for movies I really, really fucking love or really, really want to talk about. You know, I really want to talk about Indiana Jones 5 because it fucking broke me. I want to talk about Godzilla -1 because I'm a huge Godzilla fan, and that movie was easily my number one movie of 2023. So for someone like you who covers pretty much fucking everything, what sort of backlash would you expect to take backlash for your thoughts, for your opinions on this? Would it keep you from posting a review? Like, what's this online discourse for this movie specifically make you think when it comes to reviewing Predator content?
I mean, I'll make whatever I want to make at any sort of given time. I don't really care what the audience will think. But with that said, you gotta play the YouTube game with a bit of finesse. You got to have a bit of a strategy, right? And the consensus and the thing that I've noticed is quite common with a lot of these Disney movies is that in its first 2-3 weeks, you're going to have people raving about it, saying it's phenomenal. And we discussed this on FCE Live. Wait 1 month and the tone will change. Either nobody will be talking about it or people who've rewatched it on streaming will be like, oh, I don't know what the hype was. Like, it's not as good as I remember it being.
It sucks.
It actually isn't that great. And so I think it's probably better to wait till it hits streaming, which I think it will do in 4 weeks' time. One, just so you have the footage to be able to edit instead of having to use just trailer footage. But two, because by then people would have come to their senses, essentially.
All right, interesting.
But
Let's continue.
I was just going to add as well, I don't think Critical Drinker has gotten that much backlash because he's gotten 66K likes and only 1.5K dislikes. Like, that's a pretty
I wonder what his normal dislike ratio is. I've never actually looked into
like this. It's pretty much like this.
Okay.
Yeah.
There's a lot of people that have watched this, and it seems to have people pretty unhinged because, well, that's a lot of people that might not go see this movie now. I don't know why people get so invested in it. But people are outright pissed about anyone that's not enjoying this movie. And he talks about that right here. I'm going to play this and then show you some reactions.
Life really is a matter of perspective. For example, your boyfriend isn't really a useless
I need to let everybody know, by the way, this is not an AI Critical Drinker voice. I feel like we need to start making that disclaimer known.
effeminate pussy who makes your skin crawl. He's actually just redefining masculinity. And I'm not actually drunk right now, I'm just redefining sobriety. Or in this case, Predator Badlands isn't actually a goofy buddy comedy complete with cute animal sidekicks, an insecure protagonist with daddy issues who has to learn to connect with his emotions, weightless CGI combat scenes and wacky banter from a quirky android co-star that feels more like an aborted Mandalorian script than anything to do with the Predator universe. No,
yeah, Disney file.
So, again, I don't know if you watch Drinker's reviews or not. I know you've been on the show, whatnot, but I don't know. Do you watch his reviews often? Because I mean, that what he described is effectively exactly what you described. This seems to be the general consensus among actual fucking critics and not shills.
Yeah, I haven't seen this review yet, but he hasn't lied yet. Like, I completely agree.
Good enough for me.
That's a real thing. Comedy movie, buddy comedy. It even has a little alien mascot friend thing, whatever. I mean, it's obviously there for toys. Following them around, cracking jokes. That's not what I'm looking for in a Predator movie. And maybe it works, right? I will eventually watch this, but I'm just not interested in right now. I'm not interested in watching this movie. And apparently, if you share that opinion, you're a terrible piece of shit.
Oh no, it's actually redefining what a Predator movie should be. Now, I can't say I was exactly bursting with anticipation when I went into this one, partly because the concept of a Predator movie told from the Predator's point of view felt like a fundamental betrayal of the very thing that makes them compelling, their
See, and now I'm with you. I actually disagree on this point. I think this could be really cool in execution. Like when this movie was announced, I believe we talked about it the very first on your show, and I was skeptical about it because the idea is cool, but like I think it's cool from a silent protagonist aspect. I think if I remember, I compared it to Hardcore Henry. Like if it did it like that, it would be awesome. But I knew that modern Hollywood was not going to give us a silent protagonist.
Yeah, I mean, I understand where he's coming from with regards to what made the Yacha so terrifying and enigmatic was the fact that we knew very little about them. The problem is, once you've made 9 movies, people know a lot of shit about them, right? So
and that's not including all the extended universe stuff, comics and whatnot.
Yeah, it's not including all the books and comics that I've read, and so it's very difficult to get the genie back in the bottle once it's out, right? We know who the Yachu are. We know why they do. We know why they collect trophies. They're trying to become blooded. They want to become elite hunters. And they're doing all of this so they can snoo, because the female Yachu won't look at a male unless they're like the best killer in the clan kind of thing, right? So they're trying to get laid, essentially.
You can humanize Yacho like that, because that's not too terribly different from real women with their obsession with true crime. Like, you know how many people wanted to fuck Ted Bundy? Like,
I know. So, given that the genie is already out of the bottle, and we know so much about the species, I don't think there's so much of an issue with telling the story from the perspective of the Yacha. As you said, you got to keep things silent. You can't have him talking with a human character or an android for the majority of the movie. Make him alone. Make him use body language to communicate to the audience as to what's going on in his mind. It's been done before.
There was a movie that did that and did that really well. Oh, what was it called?
Alien versus Predator? Was that
That's
the one you're
the one?
of?
Alien versus Predator. The notoriously awful fucking filmmaker Paul W. Anderson made a better movie than Dan Trachtenberg. Edgy car for a 2-banger. Honestly, I want to see a Little Knife movie. Can you explain this one to me? Because I'm not quite sure what she means by a Little Knife.
I'm not sure what. And nice to see you, Angie. I'm not sure what you mean by Little Knife. If you can expand, we'll comment.
Yeah, but thank you for the 2-banger. Truly appreciate you.
Mystique, partly because those CGI.
I don't mind seeing a little bit of their homeworld. Actually, am interested in that stuff. But, you know, they don't have the balls to do something like that because they would have to do the movie in the Predator's language. And one of the reasons that he has this android with him is so that the movie can have some.
Okay, I almost said this on your show last night, but I didn't because we were talking about the box office, and so it wouldn't have actually worked with the conversation. Pan's Labyrinth is universally loved by everyone who's seen it, and it's entirely subtitled, if I recall.
Yep. It's
like
in Spanish.
I get that may have harmed the box office, but I would trade a lower fucking box office for a movie that will age like fine fucking wine.
Yeah, you know what takes the pressure off having to perform so well at the box office? Don't make these movies so fucking expensive to begin with. Make a $40 million film.
English dialogue in it. Outside of maybe trying to get shippers to really engage with that shit.
Heavy trailers with the horrible Predator redesign didn't do much to win me over, and partly because of early reviews from intellectual giants like Grace Randolph, who boldly gushed over the film's humanization of the Predator and a possible romantic relationship with a fucking androids. Stuff like this is why women's fiction should be banned.
Pause. Okay, Leon, go get your copy of this book, you son of a bitch.
I was literally on it.
Oh my god.
Shout out, Draker. Thanks, buddy.
Fucking hilarious. Yeah, I do think
Sorry, go on, my bad.
Grace Randolph's reviews on Twitter sort of hurt this movie because she was alluding to him having a girlfriend. I went kind of nuts before I even saw the movie, and I was like, they don't have girlfriends, they have fucking harems. Like, but yeah, I mean, Grace Randolph does what she does, right? We can't change her.
Oh yeah, no, I wouldn't change Grace Randolph for the world. Like I would lose so much entertainment if Grace Randolph changed. That being said, so you were talking about, the Predators, they've got harems, things to that effect. Badger said he's the only person that's touched on this that I've heard, that it isn't romantic. She made that up. Like she just had a really weird read on the movie. Is that like, could you read romanticism into this, or is it just Grace Randolph?
Badger is absolutely right. There's no sort of like romantic subplot between them. It's more like of a brother and sister, because the whole thing with Deck, the Yacha, is that he lost his brother. His brother died trying to protect him, and Thea, who's the android missing half of her body, is trying to get back to her sister. But it's kind of inverse, because her sister's a real bitch, so much so that she wants to harvest Deck's body and is willing to put her daughter in a fucking cube once she realizes her sister is aligned with Deck. So it's about Deck and Thea creating a new family, a new clan, as it were, along with a little cutesy little callous creature.
And by the way, for those of you who are like, Leon, no, look, here's the dealio. I got that book for content. $50 super chats or 10 memberships. We read excerpts from that book. So just saying.
And that's a real book, The Milking Farm, about this woman falling in love with a bull. If you've never heard of that, I'm sure you can find some funny videos reviewing it. But that's what's going on. All the glazing over this, everyone having meltdowns. He talked about it right away in his video about a minute in. I am just incredibly turned off to this movie right now. And now you've got people out here just completely melting down.
Angie expounded. She said, long story short, it's a story of Machiko Noguchi, a woman Shigusa Corpo employee that, through crazy set of circumstances, ends up with the Yacha clan and proves herself worthy to be among their ranks. Oh, is this from the comics?
Yeah, this is one of my favorite stories. Badger and I talk about this all the time. Sorry, I'm eating. I haven't had breakfast.
No,
I woke up like 20 minutes before the stream.
You're good.
So she works for Weyland Yutani, and her entire like family get wiped out by xenomorphs, and the Predators arrive for their big hunt. And one of the Yacha sees Machiko kill a xenomorph, and so he brings her into his tribe. And all the other Yacha do not like her. They think that she's weak. She constantly has to prove herself, but she's a badass character. And I do think that Alexa Woods in AVP was modeled off of Machiko.
Oh, interesting. I didn't know that. Like, again, she's a cool character in AVP. She earns the Predators' respect. Like, yeah, I think that's a great story arc. I had no idea that it was based off something that had been done in the comics. Also, we're reacting to a Yellow Flash video. Is why you hear Flash.
Over his review, particularly this guy, you see a lot of this. Like, so now a lot of these like very Disney pro YouTubers and stuff are coming out and attacking.
So in 2025, if your gimmick to review movies is being a drunk asshole, you're a bad critic. I wholly reject this. There's nothing wrong with having a fucking gimmick while also being intellectually honest in your reviews. Like, they're not mutually exclusive.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure his 1.3 to 2 million views per video proves your point wrong, Hunter Balding.
Right.
You dumbass.
I'm pretty sure Chad Stahelski is name dropping him on Joe Rogan proves your point wrong.
Yeah. The thing is, like, yeah, he pretends to be drunk, and it's this sort of performative aspect that he's been doing over the past, I think, 2-3 years, because his content was very different before that. But the substance of his criticism is on point. Everything he says is very analytical. So I don't see what the problem is.
It's funny you mentioned his content being different before that, because I found him years ago before like doing the whole drunk thing, because he was doing Resident Evil game reviews. And
he's a fan of Resident Evil like you. Yeah, he loves it.
He's a massive. Like, that's honestly the one thing I'd really want to talk with him about. It's like, dude, I'll just sit here and hash about fucking Resident Evil because modern Resident Evil sucks. But yeah, and then never watched his channel again. Nothing. And then when he blew up, found his channel, started watching it. I was like, this seems familiar. And I went back and watched the old. I was like, holy fuck, these are the old Resident Evil reviews. And it's like, wow, very, very different. His cadence is different, his tone is different, but it's like the accent is still there. So yeah, his old Resident Evil reviews are interesting. You guys should go back and listen to them. They're years old.
People for not liking this movie. If you don't like this movie, you're a terrible person. Why? How dare you not enjoy this masterpiece of a movie? It's just consume more bullshit, man. To me, this movie looks like Disney slop. Now, maybe I'm wrong, but the way people are attacking everyone left and right who dare criticize this movie turns me off to finding out if I'm right or wrong. But this guy's on a normal one over this movie. It's 2025. If your gimmick to review movies is being a drunk asshole, you're just a bad critic. And John Douglas's translation, I'm not mad that Drinker reviews videos. I'm mad that he has 2.3 million subscribers and I don't. Probably some truth to that there. And look, he's doing the Nazi thing here. Reviews videos, calling him a Nazi, of course. Critical Drinker's a Nazi because he doesn't like Predator Badlands. They just call him that because he doesn't give their slot.
And they wonder how Trump got elected in 2024. Like, you call someone a fucking Nazi for not liking Predator. This is how you get Trump, by the way. If you guys want Fetterman in 2028, here's the advice. Maybe stop calling people Nazis for not liking Disney. It's that simple.
Yeah, the word starts to lose its meaning pretty quickly.
Well, and also, yeah, because these are the same people that, will love and shill for Disney, call people Nazis they don't like Disney, but in the same breath, claim that Disney, that Walt Disney was an anti-Semite. He wasn't, by the way. There's no credible evidence of that. So yeah, it's if it weren't for double standards, there'd be no standards.
Shit, good reviews. That's a stretch there, buddy, to call him a Nazi for not liking a stupid-ass movie or movies you don't like. This dude's freaking out. Like, and it's not just him. Like this. Can't believe people don't know the Predator had this female comic book and they're more dangerous than the man. Who cares?
Okay, so we were talking about this a little bit on your show yesterday, talking about canon and whatnot. You've read a bunch of the comics. There's obviously ones you love. You mentioned some earlier. I imagine you've read some that are fucking bad as well.
Yeah. It's like any IP. It's like any franchise. It's going to be some good stories, and there's going to be some pretty atrocious stories.
Exactly. It doesn't matter how much I love Spider-Man. Everybody knows One More Day is a fucking terrible story arc. Most people hate the Clone Saga. I don't, but most people hate the Clone Saga because it was convoluted and annoying, and people say it did disservice to Peter Parker's character. Like, dude, there's even in the most popular IPs, there's dumb shit. That doesn't mean that the Predator Badlands need to pull from that dumb shit, but it doesn't validate Predator Badlands, I should say, if they pull from the dumb shit. Angie Carver at Two Banger says, well, movies cater to general public, not fans. But I don't know. I think that's a problem. If you cater to the fans first, the general public will come. And we saw that for example, with Fallout. Vex Electronica knew nothing about Fallout. She never played the games, nothing. Because of me and other Fallout fans praising how incredible the show was, she watched it from word of mouth and she fucking loved it. Like, I don't know. I think you need to make movies for the fans first and foremost. I don't know.
I agree. No, I
Okay.
agree. Sorry. I'm just taking another bite of my bacon and egg roll with hash brown. It's fucking massive.
That's a very American sounding breakfast. Too bad being in Australia, you don't have a gun next to you.
I might. Who knows? So it says there, Joe Rosso says, it's canon that female Yachua are far more dangerous. Yeah, that's true. But you know what's not canon is that the female Yachuas do not go off planet, right? Like, they sort of control Yachua Prime, but they rarely ever go for hunts beyond their home world.
Is there a reason for that in lore? It's just like, hey, they're too busy running shit, so they don't go on hunts.
Well, because they're not really running shit, right? Like that. It's sort of like it's a patriarchal society. The elder Yacha, who are like 1,000, 1,500, sometimes 2,000 years old, they're all predominantly men. And they're like the ultimate leaders of their entire society when it comes to where they hunt, where they go, where they sort of colonize, how the society functions as a species. But like day-to-day operations are sort of maintained by the female Yachua, who never leaves the home planet.
All the dudes at the top delegate to the women what to delegate.
Yeah.
I like it. Based.
I'd rather watch the movie with this than whatever that runty looking Predator is in the Badlands movie. This looks pretty cool. Here's a classic. I was just looking through this guy's timeline. here he is getting salty still back from November 8th. Very salty about this movie and the opinion that people have of not liking comedy in some of these movies. I don't like it either. I'm tired of the Marvel.
My favorite outrage thing is that these rage baiting ass clowns hate having comedy in a movie. Guess what? We don't have comedies in theaters, so we get it with our action these days. Yeah, that's a problem. Maybe make some more fucking comedies. Oh, but we can't because y'all ruined it because shit we got. It was offensive. I don't like comedy. You can have dry comedic moments. Like we talked about this with Silence of the Lambs. This is one of the few things I got to talk about with you before my internet shut out. I think the comedy in Silence of the Lambs is really good. It's very few and far between. There's a couple good dry little jokes in there that work.
Oh yeah, especially when Clarice and Hannibal are having their discussions. There's a few jokes here and there. Like she's talking about Buffalo Bill and how he's skinning them, and Hannibal's like, "Why do you think that is?" He's like, he's keeping his own trophies, right? And it's very common among serial killers. And he says, "I never did that," and she goes, "Yes, because you ate them." And that's like, it's funny, but it's also unnerving. It fits the tone of like the conversation that they're having. That's how you do it.
And that's the key. It fits the tone. There's a reason that Marvel worked for a while with the comedy because it was only coming from like Tony Stark being an asshole, or in the early Avengers movies, you know, it was Captain America, the fish out of water sort of comedy. They weren't comedy movies. They were comedic moments that fit the mold of what's going on. Like when Steve Rogers says, you know, there's only one God, ma'am, and he doesn't dress like that. Like that's a funny line, but it's not a, but it's done in character in the moment, fits the tone, because that's what Captain America would say.
Oh, and even in that same sequence, Iron Man, I have a plan of what is this? I have a plan of attack. No. Captain America's like, hey, we need a plan.
Oh, it doesn't. Iron Man say, I have a plan, attack, or something like that.
Yeah, we need a plan of attack, and Iron Man's like, I have a plan, attack. Yeah. Before he goes down to fight Thor and Loki. Yep, that's it. It's been a while since I've seen the first one.
It's been a while since I've seen the first one as well. Shout out Zach's been for 11 months. It's Yacheks now. Do better, Niet.
That's never going to be a thing, buddy. It's not happening. Sorry, Zax.
Like fetch.
Bullshit. The Marvel comedy, everything, nothing can be serious at all. I'd rather have comedies. I think this is a genuine criticism that you can have. Hey, I'm tired of everything being a joke. I don't want comedy in all of my movies. So, apparently if you don't like that, now you're also a rage baiter. Get that.
What John Fleming? Shill is overused. People pay to watch movies that already decide they hate. The thing they despise, both the livelihood and the reason they exist. A shill profits from praise. Rage baiting profits from hate. Both push a narrative. I find the concept interesting. I don't necessarily agree that the rage baiting profits from hate, because I think that's a very narrow-minded view. Like, what people claim to be rage baiting could very well be genuine consensus. Like, my mod Dax fucking loathes Dragon Ball Super. He hates it. He is diehard anti-Dragon Ball Super. So if he made a bunch of anti-Dragon Ball Super posts and got paid for it, that's not rage baiting, because he's honest in his hatred for that show.
Yeah, the fact that he's getting paid just aligns with his hatred.
Right.
Yeah.
I would think that baiting is if you're lying about whether or not you hate something.
Oh yeah. If you're being disingenuous just to get the clicks, right? Which a lot of people do on Twitter. John Flickinger, do you know who he is?
I haven't watched him in years. I used to really enjoy his content. He was a much better Chris Stuckman when I was watching Chris Stuckman, but I haven't seen him in years. I don't even know. Does he still make content?
I think he still does make content, but I know him from Chris Stuckman because they used to collab together. I think they lived like an hour away from each other. They used to do Hilariosity reviews, and then they sort of broke off, and John continued doing actual reviews while Chris started just repeating the Wikipedia pages of the movies and not actually reviewing. But John also got a lot of hate because last week he was praising this movie. Like he was giving the movie a trombone, if you know what I mean. Like he was getting right in there, and a dirty trombone. And people were like, you're a fucking shill and whatnot. And he was like fighting with them. But could you go back a little bit with the quote from what's his face? Like if you could go back into the video, like I think at 2 seconds.
There yeah, right here.
Boomer Schwarzenegger fans will insist the first Predator was as horrifying as Alien, and then this type of humor was in it. I think this is something we were discussing in the Variety article that we went through, or the Time article that we went through yesterday, right? The first Predator movie is split into two. The first one is the sort of like an action comedy. You've got these 6 or so unstoppable like killers that are actually a rescue team, but they develop their proficiency by being killers, and they're sent into this hot zone. They wipe out this like cartel, this entire like guerrilla gang, and they're making jokes, right? Because they're in their element. And Blaine says shit like, this stuff will make you a sexual tyrannosaurus just like me. But you know what happens halfway through the movie? He gets
The
a
jokes
fucking plasma.
stop.
Yeah, he gets a plasma caster to the fucking chest. And what's his face? Duke picks up his fucking minigun, starts shooting it everywhere, and they fire maybe 10,000 rounds, and they miss the Predator, and then they realize that they skinned it. But after that fucking point, they stop making jokes. Everything is absolutely serious. Things are kind of horrifying because an invisible hunter starts taking them out one by one. So, Dex Attorney, you're fucking retarded.
Comedy in all of my movies.
By the way, that would be a shill, in my opinion. Dex Attorney. He has changed, he or she or whatever, has changed their profile on X specifically to praise and promote this movie and put down the previous Predator movies and whatnot. If you've changed your Twitter handle to Dex Attorney, you are a shill.
Yeah.
Just, yeah.
So, apparently if you don't like that, now you're also a rage baiter. Get the hell out of here. And, look, here's this one. Look at this guy. He's got my thumbnail in here. I find this funny. And this totally just proves my point. And by the way, he's queer and proud because the Hollywood Reporter said that he's queer, which is bullshit, apparently. But they're the ones saying it. And then they'll get mad. Why didn't you do any research? That is doing research, going and seeing what the critics are saying about something before it comes to theaters.
Dude,
that's what
I get this in my videos all the time. Like, I'll make a title. It'll be based on something that like a headline or an article said. Then if you watch the video, I will say, the article's wrong. This isn't correct, or this isn't accurate. Dude, people don't watch the fucking videos to sell that you're calling out these bullshit articles. EB says, I'm already a sexual Tyrannosaurus Rex. I have a tiny, minuscule, crabby arms. Ricky Berwick, is that you?
Supposed to do is look at critic sources for an opinion to form on the movie and whether I should go drop money on it or not. And all of these critics are called.
And that's the crux of this. Like, that is why I'm never, it doesn't matter if there's people I know that say, oh, it's a good movie. Oh, you should give it a watch or whatnot. The job of the marketing, the job of the trailers, all that is to sell me on whether or not I spend my money on this. And they fundamentally fucking failed. So I'm not going to see it. I'm not going to pay money for it because even if people tell me it's good, okay, they did not do their job well. They did nothing that they did to sell me the movie worked as a sales tactic. So why should I buy it?
Yeah, and they failed in their attempts to market this movie to the demographic that they were after. Because, my girlfriend, her friends never heard of this movie. It ended up being a romantic comedy is how she sort of like was putting it at the end. But they didn't know about this movie. They didn't know it existed. They're not going to go and watch this. So you fucking failed.
Yeah, the marketing for this movie was weird. Like, I remember seeing it everywhere, but in places that it didn't seem to fit. Like, I would get ads for this before watching, like an Asmongold video or something. I'm like, is that the demographic you're going after? The people that watch Asmongold, the people that are like known for never leaving their basement are going to leave their basement to go see Predator Badlands? Seems like a weird place to put your ad. Like,
yeah, but I think with Asmongold, it's more of a demographic thing, right? Because he's got like 18 to 25 now. Like, that's his primary demographic. I'd assume like 40 to 50% of people watching him are in that age bracket. So the marketing and where the videos get played are tailored to that.
Okay, that's fair then.
Calling me a piece of shit for not wanting to watch this movie, or at least questioning what's going on. And I'm not saying have to keep doing the same.
You want to take this one yet? Can someone explain that animated Predator shit for me? Wasn't there some sort of skinhead lesbian Viking warrior chick in it?
Fuck me. This Killer of Killers is the bane of my
Good version.
existence. So it's an anthology series film made by Dan Trachtenberg, which is, again, much like Predator Badlands. It's an interesting concept, right? To tell 4 disparate stories set in different timelines where a different Yachua is hunting people, right? So you've got like a time period set during the Vikings where a predator is hunting a Viking clan. You've got ninjas in like, I don't know, like the 1300s where Yachua is hunting a fucking samurai. And then you've got like a World War II dogfight, right? Concept, brilliant. Execution, terrible. The animation, the frame rates are all over the place. The storytelling is fucking garbage. And the end of the movie retcons who the Yachua are as a species and why they do what they do. And it actually destroys the continuity of every single Predator film that came before it. I hate that movie with a passion.
You heard it here first, folks.
Predator formula. But the glazing that they're doing over this movie turns me off to it. But I'm in some good company here. They have put me together with Critical Thinker, Disparu, Rot. That's great. That is great.
No, actually,
Here's
hold
another.
on. This image right here. This is what take Disparu out of it, take the fact it's a thumbnail out of it, just putting these 2 Predators side by side. That's what ruined this for me in your marketing. One of these is a Predator to me. The other is like take the fact he looks like a twink aside. Even the effects, even the costume, even the way his braids look and whatnot, to me just reeks of laziness or not even laziness, just being generic.
Yeah, no, I mean, well, the first one, you've got Stan Winston coming in to do the creature effects, and he was like ILM when it comes to digital wizardry. He was the practical effects master along with Jim Henson, right? And the Jungle Hunter in the first movie is horrifying. Also, notice that the Jungle Hunter is wearing the net around his body. So that's an apparatus that helps regulate humidity. And without it, they can't really survive in our atmosphere. Notice what Deck doesn't have.
I see. I didn't know that about the net. I bet Dan Trachtenberg doesn't know that about the net either.
No, he doesn't know that. He
bullshit.
doesn't know anything about the lore. He picks and chooses what he wants to include and then gets rid of everything else. I honestly don't have an issue with Deck being the runt of the litter. The Yachua, like any species, are going to have abnormalities in their genetic pool, right? That's absolutely fine. I don't have an issue with how he looks. My issue is with how he behaves.
I have an issue with how he looks, but not for any sort of lore reasons or whatnot. I mean, again, it's purely the equivalent of like again, compare to use something I'm familiar with, Resident Evil. Compare Resident Evil 4 to the remake. 4 still looks like a video game. It's not made to look realistic. It has a distinctive, almost anime-esque art style, whereas the remake went for a like realistic modern video game. This could be a movie art style, and I think that harms the charm and the visual representation of what the franchise should be.
Are you referring to Resident Evil there?
Well, I'm saying I'm seeing the same thing here. When I compare these two side by side, I look at Deck on the right, and I see modern Hollywood generic. This could be anything, not this is Predator.
No, I get where you're coming from. I did have an issue with how he looked before I saw the movie. Watching the movie, that's the least of its problems, honestly.
Fair enough.
Rot. That's great. That is great. Here's another one. I just find this funny. They're so pissed off about anybody giving this any kind of negative attention. It's really weird. And like I said, I haven't seen anything to this level since Kingdom Come Deliverance 2. There's all kinds of crazy shit going over that game too.
That was
You're not allowed to criticize this movie though. And if you do, you're rage baiting incel. Look at him going after heel versus babyface here. I just want you to stop saying odd shit to Predator Badlands is Predator for girls. And that's what it sounds like. Like I said, maybe it's an amazing movie. It's got some good reviews out there, but the glazing and just the meltdowns, they just turn me off. There's already a shitload of response videos to this video, calling him a piece of shit for not liking the slop. Anyway, let me know what you guys think about all of this. Did you see the movie? What do you think about all of this? Let me know in the comments. Also, if you would please like, subscribe.
But yeah, so that's that. That's the what's Vols was saying about, again, people like Drinker or even like you. Are you going to be doing a Badlands video, or is it even worth your time?
No, of course, absolutely. I have to. It's like, yeah, I absolutely have to cover it. But I'm just going to wait for it to hit streaming, so I have more visual resources, and I'll do like a 1 hour video comparing it to the original series. But these things take time.
Well, I mean, again, you've done, several Predator videos at this point. So yeah, you're a fucking expert on the matter. But yeah, again, I find the discussion around this movie to be hilarious because you're right. It'll fall off in a month. A month will roll by, and people like Dex Attorney will have changed their profile picture to whatever quote unquote underdog film is next. Avatar for the Avatar or something like that. When it comes to the James Cameron Avatar movie.
Oh, he's going to be like Jake Sully's attorney when Avatar
Right.
gets dropped. Yeah.
Butter Framed in Gold, shout out. Thank you for the 5-banger. I would love it if studios use practical effects, then use CGI to touch up and do what you can't with practical effects. That should be what they do. That said, and frankly, man, as much as I want to give shit to Peter Dinklage and whatnot, Toxic Avenger had fucking horrible in the best way sort of effects. Like the upcoming John Carpenter's The Thing sequel. I'm really looking forward to that for nothing else beyond the practical, what he's going to do with the effects. I mean, have you heard that yet? They're doing a thing too.
I didn't know. Is Carpenter coming back for a sequel?
He's the one that announced it. He said, and this is why I'm not necessarily super worried about because legacy sequels and whatnot. Carpenter is the one who wants to do it.
I mean, I'm definitely going to watch it. The Thing is one of my favorite top 3 sci-fi horror movies, right up there with Alien and Predator. But my issue with Carpenter would be that the 90s were kind of rough for him, right? Like he made some pretty bad movies, 90s, early 2000s.
No, I think he made some underrated gems. I mean, they were bad for him financially. Well, to be fair, his whole career's been bad for him financially. What's the one he did with Sam Neill, the religious one?
Oh, in the was it not In the Mouth of Madness?
Is it? Yeah, no, In the Mouth of Madness.
Yeah, no, I think that's a good
great.
film. I'm talking more about
but it's great.
Ghosts of Mars. Like, that's not a good film.
I've never seen Ghosts of Mars. What's Ghost of Mars?
Well, it's about a mining colony on Mars.
I swear to God. Okay.
Yeah, it's a mining colony on Mars that are like something's gone wrong. I saw this in high school, and so a team gets sent to investigate, and they realize that the ghosts of Mars have taken control of the people, right, and turned them into zombie killers, something like that. No, they're sort of like the Reavers in Firefly. They're very sadistic and shit. But it's got like Ice Cube, that bombshell from Species, I forget her name, the blonde hottie. They're the 2 main characters. It's got Jason Statham as well, like in his early days. It's not a great film.
Yeah, but everything you're saying leads me to believe I need to see it.
Like
this sounds like a good fucking time. I'm gonna be real. This sounds like a really good time. Well, we're gonna shift gears. We're gonna talk about some Square Enix now. You love games, but you don't get to play games very often because you were the busiest motherfucker on this damn platform besides maybe Hypno. So are you familiar with what's going down with Square Enix? First, are you even a Final Fantasy fan?
No, I've never played Final Fantasy. So yeah.
Are there any Square Enix games that you're that you get down on? Kingdom Hearts or any of their older games or anything like that?
Square Enix. Let me see.
By the way, man, there's a few Final Fantasy games you should definitely play, but then again, I doubt you've got 80 hours to sink into a fucking JRPG.
Yeah, give me some games to play, and in the next decade, I'll endeavor to play them because I only have like a 2 to 3 hour slot every week where I can play, and I have an addictive personality. I was saying this yesterday, so once I start a game, if it's really, really good, it's hard for me to put it down. And I've just got so much going on that it'd be difficult for me to start something new. At least with like Skyrim, I can pick that up and let go at any given time. It's not too much of an issue because I've played it to death.
I
No,
do
I don't think
appreciate
I've-
Angie Carr correcting me, by the way. Squaresoft for the OGs. You are correct. Squaresoft for the OGs, considering my two favorite games are actually Squaresoft games, not Square Enix games. There was a merger in the late 90s, so they became Square Enix. But yes, thank you for the correction, Angie. Anyway, go on, yet.
Yeah, no, I'm just looking at their list of games. I don't think I've played any Square Enix games. I'll keep going through the list, and if anything pops out, I'll let you know.
Yeah, they are one of the most prolific companies in JRPGs. I mean, they effectively invented the concept. They didn't invent it, but by all accounts, they invented the concept of the JRPGs. So Square Enix Japan is gutting California office, and they're pissed.
Hey guys, welcome back to Clownfish TV. This is Neon. I'm not here with Geeky Sparkles. I'm going to talk about Square Enix because I personally am very interested to see what the Japanese do with Square Enix. We reported a couple of days ago that they're laying off a good portion of their Western staff, employees. I would say developers, but I don't think these people really develop anything. They develop.
So, without knowing anything about Square Enix, it's only knowing that they're a Japanese-based gaming company and knowing what you know about the modern state of gaming, you hear they're laying off a bunch of Western divisions, including the UK and California. What's your initial thought? What do you think the reasoning is?
That the Western branches are wanting to insert like woke stuff and DEI stuff, and the Japanese are like, no, we're not down with that. That'd be my assumption. Looking from the outside in.
That's been a lot of people's assumption, and maybe that's correct. My assumption is that they're just gonna go with AI because it's fucking cheaper.
I mean, that's what most companies are doing. Even YouTube is letting go of people, right? A lot of employees and switching to AI models.
Now, mind you, it could be both. It very well could be the West have been fucking up and nothing's selling because of all the agenda-driven stuff. So, if so, fact, let's just replace them with AI. It could be a bit of both. But yeah, I don't know. I'm not as familiar with the situation yet.
Problems for Square, but they're laying a bunch of people off. And yeah, it's not going very well. They're getting a little salty, but they're definitely cleaning house. And I think this is a long time coming. Square has lost the plot. Square has put out Western style titles like Forspoken and Marvel, and all of these things have failed.
By the way, yeah. Were you familiar with the Marvel's Avengers game that just got trashed a few years ago?
Yeah, I remember seeing some footage of that, and it looked kind of shitty.
That was their Western division.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Their Western division also did the modern Tomb Raider remakes.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so when they're not doing things like Final Fantasy Kingdom Hearts, they're having their Western team do things like, Marvel's Avengers and the modern Terminator games. Or Terminator. Tomb Raider.
Catastrophically, right? They need to get back to basics. What works and what works for Square is JRPGs. Like, they need to do good JRPGs. Clair Obscur should have been something that came from Square.
Correct.
A decade or two ago, well, probably 2 decades plus ago, that would have been a Square game. That would have been a very typical type of experiment.
I assume you've heard of Clair Obscur.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that's the one. No, that's the company that did Expedition 33.
The game is called
Clair Obscur is Expedition.
But yes, that's the full title. Everybody that played that on launch, all the old school JRPG fans, their whole comparison was, this is the best Final Fantasy game since Final Fantasy X. It's not Final Fantasy, it's not related to it, but like, that's the point, is that this is a game that Square Enix would have made 10 to 20 years ago.
Yeah, I think
Butterfree and Gold for a 2-banger says, yeah, you got to play Chrono Trigger, if anything. I agree with this completely. Fuck Final Fantasy, you got to play Chrono Trigger. Because, and the reason, it's Final Fantasy, but all the art's done by Akira Toriyama of Dragon Ball fame. Just saying.
Oof. Okay, I'm adding that to the list. But yeah, Erwin was recommending I look at Clair Obscur.
I think you'd love Clair Obscur. I really do. And unlike most JRPGs, you don't have to spend 80 hours on it. You can get through it relatively quickly. Then Angie Carver, a 2-banger. They need to remake The Bouncer. I'd buy it. They don't stop remaking shit. Stop remaking shit. But either way, I appreciate you too. Thank you so much for the donos.
That Square would have done, and they don't take chances. Now they again release this Western AAA crap, and also they just re-release Final Fantasy games forever, or other better titles. We're gonna take a look at what's going on now. Before we get into it any further, please subscribe for more pop culture news, views, and rants, guys. Hey, you still have time. You still have time. We're going to leave this open for a little bit. You can back Geeky Sparkle's Kickstarter campaign for her Christmas pins. We're going to shut the campaign down when we basically run out of pins. We placed an order, and whatever the overage is, we're going to let people get those, and when we're done, we're done. Now, some people have tried to add on to their purchase, I guess,
we let ad reads play out.
pledge after the fact. And apparently Kickstarter, how it works is once a campaign closes, like actually closes out, the official close, you can't add anything or change anything, which is kind of annoying, but we'll see what we can do. We had a couple people send messages. We might be able to, just send you a link and you can just, buy them from us directly.
Angie, I don't know how to tell you this, and I don't know how you're going to take this. I fucking hate Kingdom Hearts. I love Kingdom Hearts 2, and I like Kingdom Hearts 1. Kingdom Hearts 3 was the most disappointing video game experience I've ever had in a video game, and I don't really like any of the spinoffs. So, yeah, 4, I don't have a lot of hope for 4.
We'll see. We'll see how that goes. Unfortunately, there's not going to be a neon pin. I know you guys wanted the neon snowman. We did not hit 15,000 before the campaign closed, and even if we did, I don't think I can make any changes to it. I can just leave the existing campaign open a little bit longer. That seems to be the way Kickstarter works. I'm going to have to remember that going forward. Again, we're still relatively new to the current version of Kickstarter. We haven't really used it a whole lot. I like it so far, I'm going to be honest, but we'll see. So just letting you know, you do have some time yet. Anyway, let's talk about Square. We didn't do this to pimp our campaign, our closed campaign. So Square's been laying a bunch of people off, and most of them are in the West. And this is the second round of layoffs they've had in a year. And this company is not doing great. Let's be honest. We've been covering it. And their Hail Mary pass was the Final Fantasy VII Remake, and it's doing okay, but it's also a very expensive game. And
he says it's doing okay, which I would disagree with. Like, a lot of people bought that game, but if you go to this right here, I'm pretty sure I saved it. Yeah. Square Enix admits Final Fantasy 16 and 7 Rebirth, because they're splitting the remake of 7 up into 3 different parts. Profits did not meet our expectations. If they didn't meet the expectations, I would imagine no, they're not doing okay.
Why did they split 7 into 3 parts?
Are you looking for a more sophisticated answer than they're trying to milk their audience?
If that's it, then that's it, I guess, right?
I mean, they can come up with any reason they want in terms of, back on the PS1, we didn't get to tell the full story that we wanted to because of hardware limitations. And like, they can make those claims. I don't buy it. The part 1 of the remake is the length of the, like that one part is the length of the entire original first game. And it completely changes and alters the story. It basically, the story takes place in an alternate universe where the events of Final Fantasy VII play out differently. Well, if that's the case, then this isn't the game you wanted to tell. This isn't the story you wanted to tell originally. Because you're giving us an alternate universe story.
Yeah. Just make a new game by that point.
They extended a 6-hour section of gameplay into a 50-hour full game. That's exactly what they did. That's it. There's only one reason to make Final Fantasy 7 in 3 games: money. Yeah, I don't know a gamer alive that doesn't believe it wasn't just a cash grab.
It's not resonating with everyone, I think, the way that they were hoping for. I know a lot of older fans like myself would have preferred turn-based combat. We would have preferred something that was a little more one-to-one with the original game. That's not what we got. But look, the only reason we got anything was they know they can go back to that that Final Fantasy VII well, and people will buy whatever because this is Final Fantasy VII, which is really freaking sad when you think about it. Like, how many Final Fantasies have there been, right? Since 7, how many decades has it been? And 7 is still the most bankable Final Fantasy. It's just very...
Damn, I've never really thought about it like that, but they just released 16 2 years ago. 7 is still their most bankable one. That's fucking sad.
That's depressing, dude.
And mind you, I really like 10. 10 is great. The online games that a lot of people love, I haven't really sunk time into 11 and 14. People really like 14, but yeah, they'll never escape the shadow of 7.
Very weird. Like, instead of trying to beat Final Fantasy 7, which I would argue they have several times over, because I wasn't like a super huge fan of 7. 6 was better. Hell, I think 8 was better. 9 was definitely better. 10, I think, was better. But I digress. But yeah, they keep going back to that because those characters are iconic. I mean, regardless of what you think about the game. And they did define JRPGs for a lot of people. But yeah, the only reason we got that was they're hurting for money. They're trying to make up losses, I believe, from all these Western flops that they put out. This is why we get so many reissues of games. That's why we're getting Final Fantasy Tactics again, finally. But yeah, they're trying to blame AI.
See, I don't necessarily know that he's correct about them losing money, though. So if we just look at their stock and look at their stock for 5 years, they're not doing so bad. I mean,
They haven't grown.
Well, August 13th of this year was their peak of the last 5 years.
Yeah, but like, just like if you average it out, they're in the same spot now.
Yeah,
as they
that's
were
true.
back then. Yeah.
So I don't know if they're losing money, but I would say they're definitely not. You're right. They're not making money.
This is coming from the HR Digest. They're like, Square Enix announces layoffs, shifting the blame from AI ambitions. I'm going to tell you that's not actually what's going on. Not completely. Do I think some jobs will be replaced with AI? Yes. And I did a whole video about this the other day. It was like a half-an-hour rant.
All right, well, I might be very wrong in what I assumed at the beginning of this video. Let's see.
About AI and how I believe it's being used as an excuse to get rid of underperforming employees or people you just don't want. In the case of Square, they're Western employees. They're California employees. They don't want them. Why? They're a pain in the ass, and a lot of them are activists. That's my...
I feel like I owe Nia some money or something now.
Why?
Because within the same 2 sentences, he's like, AI is not the reason. California people being activists are the reason. It's like, fuck, not only was I wrong, but it sounds like you were probably right.
Well, you know, I am the master of gaming. I know all things when it comes to this. So I'm kind of not surprised, to be honest, Leon. It's okay.
Thank you. I need that.
opinion, right? So Grums pulled this up from, I believe, LinkedIn. This is John Hynek. Let's see here. John Hynek. There we go. John, okay. I guess it was a reunion. John, or is it Hynek or Heineke? The chief publishing officer and head of the Western branch of Square Enix has officially resigned ahead of the new waves of layoffs. Now, he basically was given a choice. You either leave on your own with the severance package or we push your ass out. You know, they do this to save face, so the next job, he didn't get fired. He didn't get laid off. Right? Because even if you get laid off, they're like, oh, it's through no fault of your own. But I'm like, other people got to stay. That means you were not valuable enough to the company to keep, or they're getting rid of your division or whatever. So he was the direct voice of the Western market to Japan, according to the reunion, who has a whole bunch of information here. John said, yesterday, I announced to my team at Square Enix, I've decided to resign from my role as chief publishing officer effective on November 21st. Yeah. This has been a difficult decision as it means I must part with a very talented group of high-performing and passionate coworkers and friends.
But they're not high-performing. They're doing mass layoffs. Already is performative in his statement. Also, shout out Angie Carr says, AI is Skynet. Wake up, people. Hashtag where's John? Well, John just got laid off, according to this right here. Thank you for the 2-banger, girly.
Across the U.S. and Europe, it has been my distinct honor to lead, to work alongside, and to learn from such an amazing team. I want to thank the Square Enix leadership team for entrusting me in this role and giving me such a fantastic professional opportunity. And I want to thank my teammates and colleagues for their support throughout my 7 years at the company. Finally, I'd like to thank all of Square Enix, all of their players and fans for your passion and enthusiasm. Your energy keeps our teams fueled more than you know. And yeah, he's done. And somebody here said, when AAA start pushing agendas gamers don't want to see, they pay for it by not buying the game. Fire the long-term failing CEO and the staff that embraced woke ideology.
This is what somebody is saying on LinkedIn. And LinkedIn, have you ever been on LinkedIn yet?
Yes, I have. It's very, very professional. It's not Twitter. It's not Twitter. It's
Not only is it very professional, but it's very progressive in a professional manner. They use professional terminology to tout things like ESG and DEI and whatnot. And yeah, you're right. It's not Twitter.
It's where it's sort of like a platform that's critical for networking within different organizations and branches. And yeah, so to see that written there is kind of funny.
And he's like, oh, piss off. Look, maybe he's not being very polite about it. Maybe he's not candy coating it, Asif Zahor here. But John, he's right. Mr. Heineke, however you pronounce your name.
I will say, I will give Square Enix this credit. Because most of these companies, whether it be movies, whether it be video games, whether it be comics, whatnot, when they do this performative, woke propaganda pandering, we often see them like do course corrections or reversals for, let's say, like the Middle East. Like if you buy Spider-Man 2 from Insomniac in the Middle East, all the pride flags are gone. New York City ain't littered with pride flags.
Yeah.
Square Enix did not do that with Final Fantasy 16. They've got a very prominent gay character, and the Middle East said change it or your game's not being released here. And Square Enix said, nah, fuck you, we just won't release the game there.
And that was the Western branch that said
no, that was the Japanese branch.
Oh, interesting.
Yes, interesting indeed. It was the Japanese branch that told the Saudis and whatnot to go fuck themselves.
So are the Japanese
right. Square has.
I feel like even if they are lame and gay, at least they stand by their convictions. So they're not gay for pay.
Touche.
Lost the plot. Absolutely. Now, back to Grum's. He was talking about Kate. Is it Swinwar? How do you pronounce that? CYWNAR. Kate C. So Final Fantasy 14 has replaced Kate C, the former lead localizer for Dawn Trail in the series. After her open hate and approval of political violence, Asmongold called for her to be fired. Okay, so I missed this whole.
Yeah, this gal, she's an employee of the Square Enix Western branch who was celebrating the death of Charlie Kirk.
Oh, bitch, you gotta go.
No repercussions to my knowledge from the Western branch. If she's part of the layoffs now, then sure. But at the time it happened, which, this is a month and a half ago at this point, no repercussions for her actions.
I know Asmongold plays a lot of Final Fantasy 14. But apparently they were making some really shit comments. Let's see here. Final Fantasy 14 chat in their forums are dumpster fire. People posting they should not celebrate murder or getting shouted down. All the while trying to defend Square Enix's localizer, Kate C, for reposting violent political rhetoric against the right.
Oh, she's a localizer. That makes it so much worse. I didn't know what her role was at Square Enix. So she's the one that takes the original Japanese dialogue and writing and westernizes it.
Oh no.
You know what? Yeah, I hope this broad went. This is what AI is for. So these people who put the fries in the bag. I don't know about you yet, but if I had a choice between a leftist activist like this who approves of political violence and murder, localizing shit, or a machine doing it, even the machine's gonna be more soulless about it, I'll still take the machine.
Yeah, I mean, I have some ethical quandaries when it comes to the use of AI, but I'm with you there. I'd much rather a cold calculating machine to do my translations than a crazy ass lefty. Because who knows the kind of changes that they'd make, right? That you might not be aware of. Like if you don't speak English, like for the Japanese, she could be inserting all of this weird shit into the translations that they're not aware of.
It's funny you mentioned that because Square Enix has been caught having that done multiple times. Let me see if I can find it while I let this video play out. One sec.
Square, why do you let this type of violent political talk and lies about Charlie Kirk fester in your games forum? Yeah, I mean, look, and we've said before, you don't have to be a Charlie Kirk fan, but nobody should be celebrating political violence. Nobody should be celebrating murder. I mean, it was ridiculous. So yeah, this was just October. People that express any kind of relief, glee, or try to perform mental gymnastics to justify what happened are truly ontologically evil people. At least not
Yeah, I'm
enabling
so fine.
fascism. Oh my God, these people. It's always, as far as I know, Kirk talked with people. He debated young people at universities and was politically active. So are your words alone a reason for murder now? You do realize he was pro-murder, right? You do realize he died for the thing he said he was worth dying for, guns, right? This person says, much as I dislike the man, no one should celebrate the assassination of someone over what they said, no matter how vile they think they are. I agree with that. You don't have to like him, right? But you definitely should not be celebrating, political violence in this country, right? Dude died doing what he loved, defending his own killer's right to murder him while being insanely racist and transphobic. His job was getting people to kill
here's
each
two
other.
examples of the localization. In the Japanese, wolf or person, oh, rain, it's raining. It really started pouring. In English, well, slap my ass like I was just born. Rain, honest to goodness, rain.
What the fuck?
Yeah. Now, mind you, it's not like these are voice acted lines. So they have to match the mouth flaps or anything. This is text on screen. Japanese, quite impudent coming from a powerless woman. English, it appears your impudence is contagious, Alvora. Your charge knows not how powerless she is.
Interesting how they left powerless woman out of there.
Right?
Did some serious gymnastics to not denigrate the female.
So, Hyzantian soldier. So you're Azana. You've received claims that you've been leading people. We've received claims that you've been leading people astray with dubious magic. Azana's lover. Perhaps you were displeased by the sight of people being gathered around you, for they do not tolerate any faith other than that of the goddess of salt. Now, in English, oh, so you're Azana. We've heard tell of a witch using her dark arts to frighten the peasants into submission. The lover responds, perhaps they are threatened by the sight of the common folk huddled around your warming smile. The goddess of salt is a jealous mistress, after all. Her subjects cannot well suffer another so adored. Like, these are... What are we doing here?
Yeah,
yes,
like,
fire the fucking localizers.
It's one thing, like, missing the intent slightly and changing something subtly, but they've completely altered the entire meaning of those sentences to suit whatever it is that they... This is retarded.
Final one. What a fine woman. Surrender to S. Frost and I'll take good care of you. How about it? English translation. As Frost could use a woman of your skill. Join us. I'll personally make it worth your while.
Oh my god, he didn't say she was skillful. He said she was a fine woman. He's talking about her cake.
So yeah, this is the localization going on at Square Enix from the English developers. That was just from one game. I'm sure I could find multiples of those, because those weren't even the ones that jumped in my head when I was remembering some of the bad localizations they've done.
Where are they getting this from? His job was getting people to kill each other. No sympathy from me. He literally reaped what he sowed. Well, people are going to feel the same way about a lot of these Square employees, right? At least they're not dead. They can go find another job, right? But that's a lot of these companies.
Yo, shout out. Thank you so much for the sub. Nostalgia is forever. Truly appreciated.
They say this, but then they get all mad when people are happy that the people causing the problems in the video game industry or the comic book industry or the movie industry get fired because they weren't doing a very good job. They get angry about that. They're like, how dare you celebrate people losing their jobs?
By the way, so to add to that, Niet, I covered this when this happened. So these are official tweets from the Capcom localization team. Of course, mind you, this is the English team. What is localization? Embark on a global adventure through the lens of game localization. Beyond mere translation, we're diving into the art of cultural adaptation, preserving context, and inclusive storytelling.
Oh, so it's not translating, it's changing for a modern audience. Interesting.
Cultural sensitivity in characters. Character design and development must be culturally sensitive, addressing gender-specific language, cultural norms, and diverse perspectives. The importance of context. Even gameplay elements might need a little cultural remix.
Fuck the remix. That was Diddy's thing, and we all know how much of a pervert he was.
So yeah, now mind you, again, this is from their official localization team. Like we can go to their X account right now. Yep, they're still here. They're still active, bringing legendary games to the world. The official account of Capcom's localization team. Now, mind you, this has infected the east of Cap. By the way, this is Capcom, not Square Enix. But the point is, same fucking thing. Capcom, Square Enix, the whole nine, they've started hiring Western localizers and flying them to Japan and to live in Japan and do the localization in-house. So even if they fire all the Western people, we could hypothetically still get the same problem because these Western localizers just now live and work directly with the Japanese companies.
That sucks. Learn Japanese, people, so you don't have to deal with this.
For real.
Well, at least they're still alive, right? They can go get another job, but they weren't a good fit for this company. They weren't a good fit for this industry. It's definitely apples and oranges here, people. But yeah, so this is their announcement, I guess, that they have a new lead translator, Paul Chandler. Thank you for your hard work these past years, Kate. You didn't deserve the harassment. Llama Todd and other. See, I don't know the lore. I know you guys are gonna be in the comments and be like, don't you know who Llama Todd is? I'm like, no, I have no fucking idea who the fuck Llama Todd is. I'm sorry, Llama Todd, if you're watching this video, but I don't know who you are. I really don't.
Llama Todd sounds like the dude that would have tried to sell me something dubious at a rave. And I may or may not buy it from him.
Harassment.
What the hell?
Kate is the English localization manager for Dawn Trail and Final Fantasy 14. Oh, purple side shave. Okay. Oh my God, this looks like one of my AI pictures.
Why do they all look
Sorry,
the same?
Ironically enough, to express their individuality.
They always have purple hair or like maroon to pinkish hair. They've got like nose cattle piercings. Do you know what I mean? Like they always look the same.
Do you not have these kind of people in Australia? Because I see them. I live in the Midwest and I see them daily.
We do have them here as well. But my question is just, why do they look the same if they're all trying to be individualistic? If they're all, you know what I mean? Like they.
The same reason all goths look the same, even though their whole thing is rebelling against conformity.
Well, that's because they
like
shop at
the whole idea of rebellion and conformity is to conform, but conform wearing black. Like Demon Carol says, it's mostly in Melbourne. You're in
true.
Sydney.
Yeah,
you're in Sydney. You weren't born in like or not raised in Sydney, right? Weren't you raised? I thought you were raised in like Perth or something.
Yeah, I was raised in Perth, which is sort of like I guess the Texas. It's like Texas mixed with California, which is kind of a weird hybrid. And Sydney is like
oil and water, but okay.
I know. And Sydney's like New York, and Queensland, which is right above me, is like Florida. It's where we have all our crocodiles.
Oh, Queensland sounds pretty fucking awesome. I won't even lie. As in Australia, I don't know much about. I leave everything I know about Australia up to you, Niat, my awesome Australian viewers like Demon Carol and CFH90, and whatever I read on X. So that's how I know Australia.
She's running, she's scrubbing and deleting her posts on Blue Sky because she's been reposting violent rhetoric against the right, the kind of rhetoric that gets people killed. Oh, okay. I see this reposted by, yeah. So this is the, if I remember correctly, they were talking about like America's living in the Confederacy and we have to, yeah. Okay. I think I remember this. Asmongold calls for Kate to be fired after reposting controversial political opinions. Okay. This has been causing a lot of
why do so many outlets report this shit as controversial political opinions? You called for a dude to be fucking murdered. You celebrated death. That's beyond controversial, in my opinion.
I agree.
The softening of language, dude.
Sure, so it's an exception to Rule 13. The TLDR is that Kate reposted a couple political opinions that were heavily criticized.
I'm only going to refer to it as the localization of the English language now. That was brilliant.
By Llama Todd, and now Asmongold. I don't know who Llama Todd is. I'm sorry. Asmon claimed he got a Blizzard employee fired for posting similar things and is aiming to do the same now with Square Enix. For context of the post in question, essentially boiled down to calls for purging conservatives from public life. Yeah, that's not a good look. And Japan, like, I think they're just sick of this shit. I think they're hearing about it and they're seeing it all over the place, right? They're seeing it in the anime industry, and they're seeing it in video games, and they're seeing it in manga publishing, whatever. And if they're moving to AI, I think it's going to be a lot of it's going to be to get rid of localizers, because localizers tend to be the biggest problem, because they want to be the go between. I mean, you want to talk about, stuff getting lost in translation. You can pinpoint a lot of the problems going on, a lot of the wokeness, all that stuff going on in video games and anime dubs, back to the localization teams that want to basically rewrite stuff to be more in line with their ideology. And then they get mad when people call them out on it. And we've covered multiple examples of this. So if Japan is replacing these people, they're going to replace them with the machines that just do what they're told. Even if the translation's not the greatest, even if the voice actors now are batshit crazy, a lot of them. And so they're going to start doing AI dubs, right? And they're going to use the Japanese voice actors and doing.
See, that I'm worried about. I just don't think the technology's there yet. Like, if the technology was there, then I'd be all for it. But I don't think the technology is there. You can still tell it's AI. Even like that critical drinker thing we went over on your show yesterday, you had to listen for it, but you could tell it was there. I'm nervous about AI dubs.
It's pretty damn close though, Leon. If you increase the critical drinker video that we saw yesterday by like 1.25 speed, it's almost there. I give it like another year or two.
So do you think that we're going to see that? Like, whether it be the games industry, the movie industry, both, is that going to become the new norm, is just AI voice acting?
I think you'll get AI dubs for sure in like anime, movies, TV shows. Instead of hiring a whole other department in like Europe or Japan to do the dubs, they're just going to use AI. It's, a monthly subscription of like $60 to $100, maybe, $600 to $800 per year is what this production company is going to have to pay, instead of forking out, anywhere between $100,000 to $300,000 to do the dubs. I think, next couple of years, that's what we're going to see.
Damn. And someone who's got a silky smooth voice like you already gets questions in your comments about whether or not you're AI. So I can't imagine
it's
like,
true. I do.
Like
I
ours. Do. I don't know. Like, there's so many problems in the voice acting community, specifically the Western voice acting community. Whereas you've got, like, in Japan, it's not even political. There's the gal that played the Yellow Ranger in the most recent Super Sentai, I don't know if you saw this, was fired for underage drinking the other day. I take you didn't see that. Yeah. The Japanese actress that plays their version of what would be like the Yellow Ranger in America was drinking underage publicly. They fired her from the production. She's no longer part of the show, being recast because of underage drinking. Meanwhile, our voice actors can call for the death of Charlie Kirk and still get work.
Well, yeah, I mean, Japan does have higher standards when it comes to ethics than we do over here in the West, right?
For sure, clearly. All right, let's keep going.
English dubs with the Japanese voice actors, and that's how you take care of that problem. That is what I believe they're going to use AI for. Now, the larger, speak to the larger layoffs. It's to get rid of these people. 100%. It's not. The AI is being used as a very convenient smokescreen, like I said before, to fire people all over the damn place, because these companies know they got to go. So what do? Oh, guys, it's like before it was the Silicon Valley bank run. Oh, guys, we can't get any more venture capital. See ya. And then like the next day they're posting job listings. That's what's going to happen here. Oh my God, guys, existential threat. The AI came. We're going to replace y'all with AI. Oh, our sales are down. Oh, doom and gloom. Okay, they gone? Cool. Okay, let's just go hire some new people that actually do what they're fucking told and don't cause the same problems. I can almost guarantee you that in every one of these industries within the next 2 to 3 years, the unions will be excised, because the unions enable these people. Like we did the video yesterday, talking.
Do you have unions the same way we do here?
How do you have unions over there?
The idea of collective bargaining. That way you've got your small employees who usually have no power. Cumulatively, their voices together hold power and sway against like the CEO, the board, things like that. So it's you're basically part of a collective who can challenge the individuals in charge that run your company.
Yeah, I think we've got like an Australian trade union but I don't know if we have any more unions beyond that. Like, yeah, so it's not illegal here. We do have that.
Okay, gotcha.
About Teen Vogue. I mean, these assholes were chasing the HR guy who was just doing his job. They're chasing the HR guy down the hall and filming it and getting in his face because he got laid off because the company is like, yeah, we don't want to do politics and heavy LGBTQ stuff in the teen fashion mag.
Well, let's address this, Gamers Republic. I want English dub that's a direct translation. I want the artist vision, not localized BS. And sub means I have to pay more attention and can't draw or anything while watching. I mostly agree with this. However, here's why localizing is important, in my opinion. And yeah, I would love your thoughts on this as somebody that, like, yeah, you guys speak English, but you have different, like, colloquial phrases. There are some things that flat out do not translate. Like, we have the phrase here in America, beating a dead horse. Japan does not have an equivalent for that phrase. So if a game from America went over to Japan and was directly translated, the Japanese audience would have no fucking idea when they see the words on screen beating a dead horse, because that phrase doesn't exist there. So it needs to be localized to something that does make sense. I imagine that you got something similar down there that Australia also is by and large the same.
Yeah, I mean, there's idioms that are unique to particular cultures and different regions of the world. They're not going to translate. There's going to be a lot of sayings that won't make sense. And so I think in examples like that, you would have to make subtle changes, but it means being aware of the vernacular and idioms of both cultures to try and find like a happy medium between the two when you're translating.
Right. Yeah, so that's I'm not wholly against localization. It just needs to be done, yeah, exactly as you said. You need to be able to replace said phrase with something equivalent to that culture would have. Which might take more work, sure, but that's what we fucking pay you for.
Well, it takes a lot more skill and experience on behalf of the person doing the transposing or translating. And if they don't have the skill, and one, they're also, and two, they're ideologically bent, that's where things can go wrong.
Yep, and if you don't have the skill, then put the fries in the bag.
And same thing's going to happen here. They're going to use this as a reason to get rid of these people. That's what this is all about. Now, what they need to do is they need to go back to what worked. And they're starting to. There have been a couple of announcements I'm actually pretty excited about. But I'm looking at Square. Let's be clear. Square Enix is not Squaresoft.
Correct.
Those two companies merged, Enix and Square. They used to be rivals, and they merged because Square blew all their money, all the money they made in the 90s off of these amazing games, including Final Fantasy VII. All of that money, they squandered it on the Final Fantasy movie, and it was a huge, huge financial disaster. And people, they jump into the comments, and they're like, but I like it. Good for you. It doesn't matter if you like it. I'm telling you, financially, it was a huge disaster. It directly led to Square having to merge with Enix to survive in some form. And then Sakaguchi left the Gooch, and he went and formed Mistwalker, and he took a lot of Square people with him. So the company it's not the same company. There are some people that are still there, but it is definitely not Squaresoft. But you look at what they published back in the 90s, just that one decade, and it was just absolutely astounding. And they're still living off of
they're the equivalent of like some sort of famous 80s musician, or it's like Rush. They're the equivalent of Rush. They're living off their catalog from 1979, There's nothing they have put out. And again, that's not to say they put out bad games. Square Enix has put out some things that are good in the 2000s. But no, he is entirely correct. They are 100% living off of the work they've done in the past.
The member berries. Yeah, they're resting on their laurels. They're just reissuing the same games over and over and over again, because that was the golden era of Square. But like, just go back to 1990. We had let's see, Final Fantasy Adventure, which was Mystic Quest, Final Fantasy 4, 5, Romancing Saga, Secret of Mana, Alcahest. You don't hear anything about that anymore. Oh, that was HAL did that one. Breath of Fire was Capcom, but they published it because Square was known as the RPG company, so Capcom didn't publish Breath of Fire themselves. They had Square publish it because they're kind of like, we're the Mega Man people, we're the Street Fighter people. Live Alive, Front Mission, Chrono Trigger. More Mana games, Trials of Mana, Secret of Evermore, which whatever. That was US. That was US produced, if I remember correctly.
Dude, Super Mario RPG. Even Nintendo was like, we made another RPG. Square, put this out for us because you're the RPG people. Like Nintendo had someone who was like the god of video game companies said, Square, do this for us. They were on their A game in the 90s.
Front Mission, they
they've fallen off. They need someone like Bane to come in and say, I'm Square Enix's reckoning. I'm here to end the borrowed time you've all been living on, because they've fallen from grace, clearly.
Yeah, and I think that a lot of the reason they've fallen from grace is, so in this is just my guess, mind you, I got nothing to back this up. Japan was kind of the king of video games in the 80s and 90s. The West didn't really catch up until the 2000s, and then the West became actual like powerhouses. You know, when you had Xbox come out and they were putting out banger after banger. Mind you, the Xbox sold like shit in Japan. Xbox always sells like shit in Japan, whether it's 360, the Xbox One, the original. And I think that the Japan's like, oh, we actually have competition now, and rather than making their games more intrinsically Japanese, which is what was dominating the 80s and 90s, they started chasing Western trends to try and stay relevant.
Yeah,
and like this predates. Oh, sorry, go for it.
No, I think that was a big mistake. Go on.
Yeah, and it predates the ideological stuff that we're seeing now. I think that's just sort of compounded the problem.
Produced Mario RPG, Treasure Hunter G, to ball number 1. Now this is where it got really interesting. The PlayStation years, to ball number 1, Final Fantasy VII, Bushido Blade. They re-released a couple of Final Fantasies. They had Tactics, Final Fantasy Tactics.
My favorite game.
Saga Frontier, Front Mission 2, Einhander, Chocobo's Mysterious Dungeon, Xenogears, right? Parasite Eve.
Parasite Eve is so good. Imagine if Resident Evil was a turn-based RPG. That's Parasite Eve. It's so good.
That sounds cool. Parasite Eve.
Brave Fencer, Musashi, Airgeist. More Mana games, Legend of Mana, Front Mission, Chrono Cross.
So we get the point. The point is, look at them in the 90s to where they are now, and now they're laying off their entire Western division. So whether it's because of a growth in AI, whether it's because of wokeness and ideology, or a combination of both, do you think that this is going to help them recover in the long term? Like are they making the right move, or is this a smokescreen? And at this point, AAA gaming just needs to see an entire crash before, and that market needs to rebirth.
Seems like a right move. If one of the biggest mistakes they made post 90s, heading towards the 2000s, was try to be a bit more accommodating for Western consumers, going back to basics, going back to what it is that they were good at, seems like a good thing.
Especially when you see things like Claire Obscure Expedition 33 doing what they were doing in the 90s and people eating it up as if it's something brand new that's never been done before. Like, it shows there's a market for those sorts of games. It's kind of a market that Square abandoned. So, yeah, all in all, I think this will lead to good stuff. I hope it leads to good stuff. I love Final Fantasy. I'm even one of those people that loves Final Fantasy 15. I know people fucking hate that game. So I'm hoping for the best. Most anime is the same. All the best stuff was written in the 80s and 90s. I tend to agree with that. We got one more thing I want to go over, and then we'll start wrapping up the stream. How do you feel about the modern dating pool, Niat?
I wouldn't know anything about it. I'm betrothed.
As a casual observer, are women the problem? Are men the problem? Is it both? Where like do you like from a cultural observation standpoint?
Oh yeah, women are absolutely the problem. Their standards are ridiculously high. 95% of them are after the same 5% of man that doesn't want them. You know, it's like.
Well, this video is called "Are Women Destroying Their Own Dating Pool?" This was I was asked to react to this a little while ago. This video is about a month old, but I haven't seen it. Let's get into it.
Welcome back to another Dadvocate video. What's that, Cora? You want them to like the video already? Oh, you also wanted me to tell them that YouTube memberships and Patreon memberships come with early access to videos and members-only lives? What can I say? She's a smart cat. One thing Cora and I have noticed is that women are getting a lot pickier, aren't they? I mean, you can't...
Yes. The answer is yes. We can stop the video now.
I mean, women
to escape it. It's the bar.
To a certain extent, women have always been picky. It's a biological imperative for them to suit a male prime specimen to ensure that they're carrying on, as Sydney Sweeney would say, the best genes, right?
Right.
I do think that, like in the 60s, 50s, and even 70s, as we were transitioning into feminism and women were entering the workforce, women got a lot pickier, because back then just an average guy could easily be dating and marry like a 7 or an 8 and be able to support his entire family with his wages. But I think especially now in the modern age, women are ridiculously picky.
Yeah, and mind you, this is not just like a hate all women thing, even though it's super fun, because I agree with you entirely. Between the two sexes, the women should be the ones that are picky, because they're the ones that are going to be having the fucking kids. And like, look, I don't want to see ugly or fat kids run around. I don't. I want to see like a nice, strong, blonde-haired, blue-eyed world.
Hey, yo.
Is in hell here. It's men ain't shit here. We've got ick lists. Have you seen the ick lists? Men can't ride bikes. They can't order girly drinks. They can't swim funny. They can't bowl funny. Every day online, it seems, I am warned as a woman that some tiny, superficial, almost meaningless trait is actually a deadly quality in a man that I need to avoid at all costs. And I get having high standards. I get having strong boundaries. I think that people are allowed to have as high of standards for their own dating preferences as they want. I'm not telling you that you can't say that you need a 6-foot-tall, well-hung millionaire. I will say you might be culling your dating market herd expeditiously. I do fear that a lot of these new standards, requirements, or ick lists are just things that are causing us to destroy our own dating pool.
Are you familiar with the ick list, Niet?
Yeah, right. It's the things that put women off men that they're dating, and
Yes,
they can be like
exactly.
innocuous things, like the way they say a word, or the fact that they forgot to like open the door for them when they got into the car. And the list just get progressively larger, to the point where no man is good for them. Like, even when they encounter like a multi-millionaire, if they'll have an ick list for them as well. Like,
well, it's funny that you say exponentially large, because Rodimus Prime says, I just don't want her to be fat. That's a fine standard. That's a fine standard. You just don't want her to be a fatty. I approve of this standard.
If you compare the standards that men have to the standards that women have, like, men just want somebody who's kind, nice, feminine, not overweight.
Cook all right, and don't murder our kids.
Exactly, right? Like we have maybe 3 or 4 things on our list, whereas women have like 100. That's why when you look at like Tinder, Hinge, all of the dating apps, right? Men will swipe left on damn near 60 to 70% of the women. On 60 to 70% of the women. Women will swipe right on maybe 5 to 10%. And that's why they end up dating the same guy who's playing them
over and over. It's I haven't used dating apps in a long time, but back when I used to, back after my first major split and whatnot, and I was just trying to get back out there, I was using dating sites. And you're right, like my requirement was pretty simple. It was along the lines of like, don't be fat. Even people that like I politically disagree with, I was like, you know what? Now, mind you, this is 10, 15 years. About 10 years ago. So this is before the massive political divide we have now. But it was like, even if our politics are different, adults can be adults and have different politics and still get along in other areas. And so yeah, I would even swipe right on people who was like, okay, so they're pro LGBT rights, things like that. It's like, whatever, that's not that big a deal. You can't do that now, but
definitely very fair standards, like refusing to date a guy who doesn't have a job, or refusing to date a girl who can't drive. I can understand not wanting to date a guy if he's obsessed with sports, if you hate sports. I can understand not wanting to date a woman who is obsessed with going out partying if you're a total introvert. But how many good men are we throwing right in the garbage over arbitrary bullshit that we heard from women online? Let me give you just one example of this.
The biggest red flag that you should ever have in a man is if he likes anime.
Bro, your voice was a red flag. I'm not sure that you're actually a woman.
I agree with you there.
That was pretty rough. I would like to point out, ladies, and yeah, I'm gonna blow myself up here for a moment. Ladies, get you a guy that's into anime, because look at all of this. That oftentimes means they have money. All this right here, this shit ain't cheap, so it means they can provide. Just saying. Isn't that one of the standards for women? You need to be able to be a provider?
Yeah, that's what they want, right? To be able to take care of their offspring and make sure they're not in financial dire straits. Look, I'll be honest with you. When I started dating my girlfriend, I have like a spare room that's just filled with all of my books, all of my comic books, all of my manga, all of my DVDs, Blu-rays, all of my fucking video games. And I was like, yeah, I'm a bit of a nerd. I like anime. I like manga. I like comic books. Some of it ties into my work. Most of it is just for fun. That's me. I might game weekly, and I'll watch a whole bunch of movies and TV shows. And if you don't like it, we probably won't be able to date. And she was just like, yeah, that's fine. It's like, yeah, damn right.
Good. Base. Excellent. Like I remember talking with Enzo one time, and he and I came to the same conclusion, which is like, if you're ever trying to date a girl and you don't tell her you're a YouTuber for at least 3 months, because that's like apparently an insta-ick thing for them. It's like, you know what? That actually makes sense. So when people ask me what I do for a living, I'm a public speaker. If it's a pretty girl, I'm a public speaker.
Anime as the biggest red flag.
That was my first thought. The biggest?
I know that it's not all women thinking as such, because a lot of women are anime fans.
Yeah, we don't claim her.
It's just sad that a girl could find a guy that is perfect, that checks all the green boxes, but wouldn't give him the time of day because he loves anime. Because she considers that as the biggest red flag. Not him being a player or a cheater.
I'm so glad you said, because that's what I was about to say. It's like, what's your biggest red flag? Anime. Well, I got this dude over here. He's raped a couple of bitches, but he fucking hates anime. She's like, all right, we're good to go. Like, biggest red flag, really?
A lying piece of shit, or him putting his hands on women in a violent way. Nah. He loves anime. That's a no-go. That's a red flag.
The creator who sent that to me is a guy named Greg Michaels. You should definitely go check him out. But really, we had the exact same reaction. Like, the biggest red flag, a guy's biggest red flag, you're saying, is if he likes anime. Some women out there, they truly have no sense of self-preservation whatsoever. To me, either I'm reading way too into this or I'm just good at pattern recognition, but she strikes me as the kind of person who learned very early on in life, probably because there was really no sense of urgency for her to do anything else, that being popular, being socially accepted is the number one most important thing above all else.
Now, to be fair, I think that for women, that is far more important than for men.
To be accepted.
Go for it. My bad.
Do you mean like to be accepted by their peers and whatnot?
Yeah, exactly. To have a strong, social circle, to put value in being being accepted by your peers, and to having these sort of very, I don't want to say the word normal, but culturally accepted values and beliefs.
I think so too. I think women are also inherently very social creatures, right? Like my girlfriend meets up with like her girlfriends like 2 to 3 times a week. She'll do like a Muay Thai or like gym class with her female friends. She'll go out to dinner with them. I'm not interested in that kind of stuff, right? Like I'd much rather be working, reading a book and whatnot. So yeah, I do think there's some merit to that.
Well, I mean, shit, Paul Byersmith in the chat's my IRL best friend. I don't think he's come over. I don't think we've hung out in like 3 to 4 weeks. It has not changed our friendship in the slightest. Next time we hang out is the next time we hang out. We'll have a blast, and there'll probably be another 3 or 4 weeks or whatnot. It literally does not impact the friendship whatsoever because we don't need to. It's like I don't know. We don't. I think that men, by and large, obviously there's exceptions to every rule. By and large, don't get that same. I don't know if it's a dopamine hit or whatever validation it is from being, physically around your peers all the time.
Men and women are also neurologically different, right? Men are interested in things and women tend to be interested in people. That's why a lot of women, when it comes to the workforce, tend to favor nursing, childcare, teaching, right? Whereas men predominantly are in the STEM field, engineering, things like that.
Right. Or even lower end. I don't mean lower end in like a negative way, but like as opposed to STEM, which is looked at as a very high class thing, like working, doing mechanic work or, they're in coal mines or on oil rigs. It's just because and mind you, like I've worked plenty of office jobs and whatnot. I typically hated them, but they paid better. One of the favorite jobs I've had have all paid shit, but they've been like when I worked for the park district, and I was the guy that would go around and clean up all the city parks and make sure and repaint the benches and stuff like that. Or when I worked at a warehouse, it was literally, now it wasn't mentally stimulating, so I hated that aspect, but I always felt good after a day working at the warehouse of just like lugging heavy boxes and shit like that. It's just stuff that women aren't inclined to do, which is fine, but you gotta acknowledge that that's the reality
of ensuring that a man has emotional stability.
And on the aspect of men being interested in things and women being interested in people and being social creatures, that inherently leads to more of like a sheep mentality, where in order to be embraced by your peers, you sort of just, you're willing to change who you are to fit the environment that you're in. And because men are not like that, they tend to be more likely than not wolves, right? Like,
yeah, men tend to change the environment as opposed to themselves.
Exactly.
And that's why men are, by and large, probably the stronger sex.
Can control his temper and attitude even during hard times, is friendly and humble, and takes care of others. No, her number one priority is making sure that she is not seen with some weeb. Like, I'm sorry, but that's all it really comes down to, is that she was conditioned to believe that anybody who watches anime is a nerd, an outcast, someone you just don't want to be seen with. She never...
I wonder if her opinions are change, would change now that it seems that anime is literally it's broken into the public zeitgeist. Like, it's the normal thing. And you've got Demon Slayer trouncing like Fantastic Four, and like, remember, girls fucking hated comic book stuff when we were growing up in the 90s. MCU rolls around, it's the next big thing, and you get what I call Hot Topic nerds. They buy every shirt from the MCU at Hot Topic. All of a sudden, it's cool to be a nerd. How much do you think the gal that said that anime is her biggest red flag, her opinion is going to change probably in the next couple of years?
Yeah, give it 5 years.
Yeah.
Grew out of that need to have these cliques and to attempt to be the queen bee of the cool girls. This is a person who established an us versus them at a very early age and is probably just never going to change. I can tell you this is certainly a person who has never actually gotten to know someone who likes anime. Or she's just universally recognized as such a judgmental person that the people in her life who do like anime would never talk to her about it. Because the only reason that anime used to be seen as nerdy or weird back in the day is because it wasn't widely circulated. It wasn't viral. It wasn't super popular, and so people just didn't really understand it. Let's be honest, America was also really mad at Japan for a while. We know now that watching cartoons as adults is perfectly fine, and if we would have known it back then, we wouldn't have completely outcast those people. The only reason those people were outcast was because of people like the person who made this video, not because there's anything actually wrong with anime. Let's take a pretty well-known anime like Pokemon, for example. Talk about a show and a game that has united generations. People are already playing Pokemon with their kids. Where is the red flag there? You want to know something else funny? I bet you every gym crush she has ever had has Dragon Ball Z music on their playlist while they're lifting. Now,
fucking
gotcha, bitch.
based. What was that in the end?
I said, gotcha, bitch.
Yeah. 100%. Like I remember specifically that I've got a playlist. I say I remember. I don't know why I'm saying this is an active thing. My playlist is called Gallic Gains because Vegeta's main attack is the Gallic gun, and it's just all high T anime music to work out to.
That's awesome.
And it's titled Gallic Gains. I'm pretty proud of that.
Because of some cultural differences, I can see how some people see anime as maybe being like more perverted than typical American cartoons. Fan service is a thing, but
even that's not the case because like Rocko's Modern Life, you know, his job is he's a sex phone operator. And that's a show for kids. Now it's more subtle, but I wouldn't say it's any less or more perverted. It's just handled differently.
Yeah, I mean, that's also like a very niche show, but
well, not in the 90s when it came out, it wasn't.
Yeah, that and Ren and Stimpy were kind of weird shows, though.
They were
right?
very weird shows.
They were very
Ed and Eddie was lower on the tier list, but it was weird as well. Like straight up gross out humor. That's all it was.
getting on a high horse about it and pretending like American culture is so much more morally superior and above that is delusional. Like, come on, we can be gross too. But more importantly, there is so much more to anime than that. There is probably an anime for every single interest out there in the world. You like to cook, there's an anime.
And this is what I try. I compare anime to fucking sandwiches. Have you ever heard someone say they don't like sandwiches?
Mm-mm.
Because there's a million different kinds. Look, you want your sweet, you get with the Monte Cristo. You like your salty, you go with something that's got like some ham on it or something. And the point is, you got your turkey clubs, you got your grilled cheese. There's a sandwich out there for everybody. Nobody blanket hates like bread, ingredients, bread, fuck it all. Like nobody ever thought anime is the same way. Anime is a medium, not a genre. There's an anime for everyone. Like, dude, I dated this girl. And she saw me watching, you know, things like Dragon Ball, One Piece. She was not fucking into it. But I turned on something called, what was it? The Devil is a Part-Timer. And she was a religious girl. And it was a comedy anime about the devil deciding, you know what? I don't really like being the king of hell anymore. I want to go to the human world and just work at McDonald's. And she thought it was funny as fuck. And she got into it.
That's awesome, yeah.
For that. You like farming, there's an anime for that. Fashion, anime. Like, really think about this. You have decided that the most dangerous and harmful quality that a man could possibly exhibit is being interested in a form of animation that can take on so many various shapes, sizes, worlds, and imaginations.
Huh?
That was the worst thing you could ever think of. And you might be thinking, well, when you phrase it like that, it doesn't sound so bad. Guess what? Because it's never been bad. What I described is what anime has always been. It's just so short-sighted and reductionist to automatically assume that anyone who likes anime must be nerdy or antisocial or childish. Hayao Miyazaki's work, for example, is not only stunningly gorgeous with some of the most well-written characters.
How many people growing up in the 90s and early 2000s and whatnot watched Miyazaki stuff not even knowing it was anime?
A lot.
Like,
I certainly did.
Yeah. My sister is not an anime head in the slightest, but you know what? We had every Ghibli VHS tape and she fucking loved them.
Characters you will ever see, but his work also focuses on compassion, community, resilience, and how our place in nature will be remembered. The reason so many athletes love the story of Naruto, for example, is because it focuses a lot on the bonds between rivals and teammates, as well as things like forgiveness. One Piece is an amazing anime about pirates, which a lot of people treasure for all of their themes of loyalty, friendship, sacrifice. The art's cool, the storylines are great, but guess what? Anime is also good for the economy. Remember the Turkey-Syria earthquakes in 2023? Pokemon donated $5 million to restoration efforts. The creator of One Piece, Oda.
Damn! That's $5 million they could have poured towards their failing lawsuit for Palworld. Fuck Pokemon. That's cool, though.
also donated $8 million to relief efforts. Anime conventions have raised millions of dollars for hospitals and research as well. Yeah, I'm sorry, but my final response is that if you're gonna call a guy a red flag just for watching anime, that says way more about you than him. Saying it's the biggest red flag tells me that you care more about clout and image than you do about sincerity, honesty, character. Anime fans are engaging with stories that talk about friendship, perseverance, and creativity.
Now, what do you think this woman, not this one's talking, but the one we're talking about, her responsibility if a guy said, yeah, that's my biggest red flag is being a fan of Twilight or 50 Shades of Grey or something.
How dare you? That is extremely toxic and whatnot. Hey, no, this woman here makes a really good point that her biggest red flag has nothing to do with ethics, morality, that he's not an alcoholic, that he's not an abuser, that he doesn't gamble. It's that he prefers a niche form of art. Like, yeah, it says more about her than anything else.
And we're focusing on just this one gal. But I mean, this is the more just a niche version of an overarching issue with the the modern day woman. Again, obviously obligatory, not all women,
Not
but
all
like
women.
the modern day, what we're the postmodern woman, as well as say by and large the postmodern woman.
But we've seen the before and after, Leon. The before is these are my red flags, and it's all these things that are that shouldn't have been prioritized and should have been at the top of the list. And then 10 years later, when she's like in her late 20s, early 30s, you see the after video, which is, why can I not find a man? They're crying in their car, recording video to their camera, uploading it to TikTok or YouTube, saying, every man that I meet is a piece of shit. Because that's the kind of man that you're attracted to, you dumb bitch.
This is my favorite Niet.
Obsessing about how your boyfriend's hobbies are going to look on your Instagram story. Which one of those is the real red flag? And like I always say, you're allowed to have whatever kind of preferences that you want for dating. If she doesn't like anime, she doesn't get it, it's not her thing, and she'd rather date someone with more common interests, that's fine. But calling liking it the biggest red flag is the thing that I just can't get past. You definitely don't have to date anybody who likes anime. It's just that why are you painting them to other people as people who are dangerous? When we have men, like Greg said, actually laying hands on women, emotionally harming them, cheating on them, you'd rather get cheated
Yeah, dude, I don't know. I'm gonna take a wild guess and be like, Andrew Tate probably doesn't watch or like anime. I would imagine most women, if they thought about it for just one moment, would take the anime fan over the Andrew Tate or the Andrew Tate wannabe.
Agreed.
It's such a short-sighted thing for women to say, and I don't know. It's such a weird sentiment.
on the know that your man watched an episode of Fairy Tale. Honey, I'm home. Oh my god.
Okay, all right. Well, to be fair, Fairy Tale is a red flag, women. Fairy Tale fucking sucks. Get yourself a man with some quality.
Oh, thank God. That's just another woman in our bed. I thought you were reading Inuyasha. Okay, time to go over our monthly bill. What is this? Oh, thank God. It's just a gambling addiction. I thought he was buying anime again. I'm
Wow, you called it with the gambling thing.
Yeah.
just gonna check his drawers for something. Oh God. Oh, thank God, it's just a crack pipe. I thought it was manga. Do you hear how crazy that sounds? And again, like, maybe this is a good thing. I'm glad that she is letting this all be known so that people who like anime and are good men can just avoid that situation. But I do want to pose the question because I have my own theories. Do you think that there's a chance that her immediate judgment and dismissal of hobbies and interests that don't particularly align with her own are going to bleed negatively into other aspects of her dating life, even if they don't involve people who like anime? Because I myself definitely don't watch as much anime as my husband does, but if I were to hear someone making fun of someone else just for liking anime, I would think a lot less of that person. I just think she's a bully.
Well, in terms of the question, like, will it bleed? Will the hobbies and stuff bleed into her dating life? I think it's actually even, in my theory, and I'd love to hear yours, yeah, it's even worse than that, because it seems that she's emotionally mature and that she still focuses on things like, hobbies and shared interests over shared moral values. Because, I mean, you may sound like, and I could be wrong, but you may sound like you and your girlfriend don't particularly share a lot of hobbies, but I would wager a guess the reason things have worked out so well is because you do share an aligned moral code.
Yeah, we have the same broadly. We have the same ethics, sense of morality, ideals. We initially we didn't share the same hobbies, but we're sort of meeting in the middle a lot more and more the longer that we've been dating. So yeah. But I think
I think that's normal as well. There's things that, I never would have done or had an interest in or whatnot if not for getting into it because my ex-wife got me into it or something like that. So yeah, that's also normal. That's part of being in a healthy relationship.
well, and the hobbies and interests that you have are based on what what's introduced to you, right? And unless you're introduced into something, you're not going to know whether or not you like it. So,
Right.
Yeah.
I didn't know how to cook until I was in my fucking mid-20s because my first wife went to school for cooking. She did all the cooking. After we split, my roommate loved to cook. That was his thing. Once I lived on my own, it was like, oh, I don't know anything about this. And I learned it. It turns out it's my fucking favorite thing to do. I'm obsessed with it. I love doing it just as a hobby. It started off as just I need to do this to survive. Now it is a hobby / work of art, in my opinion.
Who likes to pick on nerds. And I don't think she realizes how much of the cool guys that she actually likes are secretly nerds. I think this take is going to come back and bite her hard. But what do you guys think? Do you think there's any truth to there being red flags behind people who really like anime? How would you feel if one of your friends or someone you knew had this opinion? Have you ever had a potential partner say something like this to you? I want to know what you guys think about this one. It made me a little bit mad, but you tell me what you think. If you enjoyed my commentary, please like the video, subscribe to my channel for more, and you can even turn on the notification bell if you want some alerts on when I go live. All right, that's about all I've got for you today.
All right, chat, this is a good video. I'm going to drop the link in the chat for you guys in case you want to check it out or check out more of our content. We reacted to one of our videos before, and it was pretty good. But yeah, all in all, I think that this speaks to a broader issue of, like, this is the same sort of mentality that you had with, like, Tipper Gore and the video games cause violence crowd. It's like there's of course, going to be weird, crazy, violent people in any sort of interest or hobby because those are weird, crazy, violent people. But with such a broad brush paint any hobby as a red flag, I think that's an indictment on the modern woman more than it is anything.
Touche.
Well, with that being said, guys, we're about to wrap it up. Yeah, go ahead, tell people who you are, what you do, the whole nine.
Yeah, I'm Niat, Film Comics Explained. We're going to be covering movie nights. We're going to be covering The Shining. Sorry, I barely slept and
You're good, man.
was rushing to have breakfast and caffeine this morning. But we're covering The Shining for movie nights. I'll be dropping a couple of videos this week. That's pretty much it. Thank you for having me on.
No problem. And you know what? We normally raid into Nick, but I've raided Nick so much. I think we're going to raid ABF tonight. We're going to raid ABF. He's got the melees on. I love ABF. I love the melees. So when the stream ends, hop over on his chat. It'll auto-direct you there. Type in Vital Idol Raid. And as for me, videos and streams every day. It did not have a video today on either of my channel because, yeah, YouTube caused me some fucking issues last night. But that seems to have all been, fixed. So we're going to have some videos for tomorrow. Until next time, it is all here in the Nerdosphere. And this has been Words of Paradise. Stick around for the raid. Oh, and thank you to everybody who donated. I truly appreciate it. It means the absolute world.